Hello everyone, I am Snappy Cappy, non-professional astrologer and oracle/tarot reader, back with another astrology video. In today's video, I will be going over the big three placements for Aquarius. I will be talking about how someone's personality might be if they have an Aquarius Sun, Moon, and/or Rising. So to recap, your Sun, Moon, and Rising sign is what we call your big three. Your big three is essentially who you are in a basic nutshell without having to dive in too deep into your own birth chart, which shows us the bigger complexities in who we are. So if you are someone who is very into astrology and understands the archetypes of each of the 12 signs, you can basically already get a grasp on someone's basic persona and how they might be on a day-by-day basis if they share with you what their big three is. Before I continue on with this video, I just want to say that we are all more than just our sun sign and that there are many other factors happening in our birth charts that give influence over us outside of our big three. With that in mind, let's get into it. If your birthday falls in roughly between January 20th through February 18th, congrats, that makes you an Aquarius. The most common words to describe Aquarians are progressive, eccentric, quick-witted, inventive, and emotionally detached. Aquarius is the last fixed sign of the zodiac, with the other ones being Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio. To recap, fixed signs are basically the ones who are the most stubborn amongst the zodiac. They are ones that are not easily swayed, and once their mind is made up on something, it's staying that way. And they're also the ones who feel as though they can only really count on themselves to get a job done. What sets them apart from one another is that Taurus is a fixed earth, which brings about steady patience, while Leo is a fixed fire, which brings about confident leadership. Then you have Scorpio being a fixed water, bringing about intense passions. And finally, there's the fixed air sign Aquarius, which brings about firm, opinionated beliefs. Aquarius is an interesting sign in more ways than one. Part of what makes them interesting is the fact that they are associated with humanitarianism, meaning they love to bring together a community to help those out in need and are passionate about human rights. Yet they are often described as being emotionally detached. So even though they love that people are getting the help they need, at the same time they don't want to become too involved in the lives of other people. People often see this as a strange paradox, but what needs to be understood is that you can be an activist for human rights and not care about the personal affairs of other people. There's a difference between the discussion of healthcare access and the discussion of someone else's drama. They may be an air sign, but they truly and honestly do not care unless they have placements in their birth chart that indicate that they might like to gossip. Aquarius is also a sign that is highly intellectual and very intelligent. They are the type of person who tries to have debates with people regarding hot topics, and always seem to have a brilliant and clever answer for everything. Or was the type of person you knew growing up in school who was just so naturally good at excelling in academics. I'm talking about the ones who would always finish a test first before everyone else, and the ones who would predict that they would receive a bad exam score in a subject that they considered themselves to not be good at, but would pass with flying colors anyways. Another important thing that you should know about Aquarians is that while they have brilliant minds, they can become quite prideful and even a bit egocentric when it comes to their thinking. Like I said before, Aquarians are very intellectual. They like to challenge themselves mentally. They take pride in their ideas, so when they take notice that their opinions or ideas aren't being favored, they take that to heart. Being a fixed sign, though, they will stand their ground in that their way of thinking is the best, and that can definitely rub others the wrong way. Despite that, though, Aquarians do think outside of the box and are known to be original thinkers. Aquarius moons are pretty interesting because they are known for being quite, shall we say, unique. Unique as in they are huge nonconformers, they march to the beat of their own drum. When something is trending, they don't follow it. Even if something that's trending looks pretty interesting to them, they still won't pay it any attention because they don't want to fall in with the crowd. They are also the ones who are very interested in topics that involve the weird or the grotesque or the bizarre or the controversial. Basically, things that are seen as not part of the norm. They're attracted to uncanniness. An example of this type of Aquarius moon energy can be seen in the peculiar creativity of Billie Eilish's music videos, as she is an Aquarius moon herself. It's also quite common for Aquarius moons to give off lone wolf vibes. Whether they have many or minimal friends, it doesn't matter. They are very self-reliant. That's not to say that they don't enjoy the company of other people. They just like being in their own space and sometimes doing things very independently. And because of that, they are the type of people who are more comfortable working behind the scenes rather than being out in the spotlight and having all eyes be on them. Aquarius moons are also known for being cool-headed. Like I've said before, it depends on what else is in the person's birth chart. But typically, Aquarius moons are not the type to get mad or agitated easily. And even when they are experiencing those emotions, it's usually not displayed in a passionate or intimidating manner. It's also tough to try and get under their skin, and they also have the capability of easily letting things go when it comes to personal conflicts. Basically, you don't have to worry about stepping on their toes or crossing any boundaries. I first want to say that your rising sign helps show you your chart ruler. A chart ruler, or rulers, shows us the theme or themes that reoccur most often in our lives. Examples would be like experiencing patterns in romance or traveling or restrictions or even transformations. Your chart ruler is based on what the ruling planet is to your rising sign. Now, traditional astrologers will say that anyone who has an Aquarius rising is just solely ruled by Saturn. However, ever since the discovery of Uranus, Aquarius has also been associated with that planet. So, modern astrologers will say that if you have an Aquarius rising, then you are ruled by both Saturn and Uranus. It entirely depends on the type of astrology that one prefers to work with. But on my channel and even in my own personal practice, I take the modern approach. This just means that if you are an Aquarius rising, you are more influenced by the energies that come from Saturn and Uranus. Maybe being influenced by one more than the other, or even equally. It entirely depends on the person. And once again, there's more to it than that when it comes to chart rulers, but for now, we are keeping it simple. Aquarius risings are the type of people that don't like to stick to tradition and want to tear apart the status quo. They are progressive people. So, say that they are in a work environment where they are surrounded by people who prefer to stick to old routines, old systems, and old ways. Well, maybe those old ways used to work for them, but not anymore. An Aquarius rising will be the one to step in and come up with new ways to help boost the company's numbers and to help reach their goals faster. Like I said earlier, Aquarius has a tendency to be prideful over their ideas and not want to listen to what anybody else has to say. What these guys need to watch out for is making sure that they are not being closed-minded in listening to the ideas and suggestions of other people. Another distinct trait that an Aquarius rising can inherit is being rebellious. Kind of similar to the sign of Aries, just not as reckless about it unless that person has specific placements in their birth chart that indicate otherwise. But they are rebellious in the sense that they like to go against traditional norms, and they can get very annoyed when people try to make judgment calls for them. They can even get annoyed even if that person means well by it. They like to think for themselves and judge things for themselves. Aquarius risings are very prideful in having autonomy and individuality. It's very important for them to feel as though they are their own person, and they always try to make that very clear to everyone around them. The final thing I want to add is the physical appearance of an Aquarius rising. As I've stated before in my other astrology videos, one of the things that your rising sign helps give influence over is the way we look. And of course, depending on the individual, this may or may not pertain to them. As a matter of fact, if you don't have an Aquarius rising but have Aquarius as either your sun or moon sign, some of these traits could still apply to you. But the typical physical traits of an Aquarius rising are having a very chiseled face. The kind of face that makes people think it has been carved out by the gods themselves. Other notable features might include having either upturned or almond-shaped eyes. They could also have lengthiness to their body parts, and what I mean by that is they could have noticeably long fingers, or long arms, or even long legs. And that concludes today's video on the big 3 placements for Aquarius. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you to my supporters for being patient with me on when I upload videos. My video for Pisces is currently being worked on, and it will be uploaded in the near future. I also want to give out a huge thank you to everyone who has been supporting my channel and helping my channel grow tremendously these past couple of months. I wasn't expecting to have this much growth on my channel so soon, so I can't tell you guys enough on how much that means to me. But anyway guys, comment down below if any of you who are watching have Aquarius in your big 3, and for any newcomers who have stopped by on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more of my astrology content. Until I upload the next time, please be sure to like, be sure to share, and until then, take care.